All right, guys, so this is the fifth breakout video. In this one, what we're going to do is we're actually going to make like a new layout and a new event sheet, and we're basically going to have like a little game over screen and kind of do some finishing up things on our game here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new layout. So to add a new layout, you want to go to your project window over here. You'll see a layout folder. You just want to right click that and you want to add a layout. Okay. When you add a layout, it's going to ask if you want to add an event sheet or not. So if it's going to use different events than your main game, you would say yes, add an event sheet. If it's going to use the same events as your regular game, then you would say no. So this one is going to have a new event sheet. So we're going to say add an event sheet. Okay. So over here, we can rename our layout right away. So I'm going to right click it and rename, and we're going to call this win. So this is going to be like our win screen. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to label the event sheet also. So this one here, it's called event sheet 1. We want to label that. And we're going to call it ES reset. And I would just get in the habit of all event sheets, you start with the lowercase es and then the name of what the event sheet is. And then that will help you differentiate, because if my layout is called game and my event sheet is called game, you're going to get really confused going between the two. So that way, you know, if you're looking for an event sheet, you're always looking for that lowercase es. And then if it's just the name of something, you know it's the layout. So that's what I recommend, but everything should be labeled. And part of what you're graded on in this class is organization. So just be aware of that as you're going through, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set the size of our new layout. So I'm going to highlight here the win layout. Then over here, I've got the size, and we're going to make it the same size as our game. So it's going to be 704 by 480. So I'm going to do 704. And we're going to do 480 for the height. Okay, so that's all set. So now it should be the same size. Good to go there. We're going to make a new object. So basically, we're just going to make a button that you can click to reset the game. So I'm just going to double click to add not a sprite this time though. You could do it with a sprite, honestly, but we'll just use a button because it's a button. But you could do the exact same thing with the sprite. So we'll make a button, and then for the name, we'll just call it like reset button. So I'll call it reset. I like to do like the word and then BTN for button. That's how I like to label my buttons, but you can label it whatever you want. So I'm going to insert, click on the screen to put it in. Now it's different than a sprite because it doesn't have like animations. It doesn't have that whole window where we can edit because it's not needed. Basically a button, it's just set to be an object, and then it just has like a text on it. And we can resize, we can make the button as big as we want. It's just a pretty simple little object. So if you want a flashier button that like looks really nice, I would just make it as a sprite, and then you just click on the sprite instead of the button. But if you just need a quick, simple button, this is a nice, easy way to do it. Okay. And you can do a button or a checkbox actually if you wanted to. So if you're doing something where the user has to click and pick what they want, you could do that. So we're just going to change the text, and we're going to make it say play again. Yeah, we'll just say play again. And so basically we'll have them click that button if they want to play again. Okay. And then what we'll do is we want to have a message to the player telling them that they won. So we're going to make another new type of object we haven't done yet. So I'm going to double click. Once again, it's not a sprite this time. We're going to make something called a text object. Okay. And if you scroll through and you don't see it, I mean, it's just so much easier to type it in. So just text. There it is, text object. Okay. And I'll just call this something like win text. You can give it whatever name you want to. So I'll insert that, click where I want to put it, and there it is. You can drag the box as big as you want to, and it's just going to say the word text. So you can't just type in this and change the text. You can't do it right. You can't do it here. You have to go into the properties window on the side over here. So I'm going to scroll down my properties, and then right here, this is where you actually change the text. So I could go in here and I could edit it, and I can make it say something like congratulations. You win. Okay, so I could do something like that. And then if you want to, you can click this little box here, and it will bring it up if you want to see it. But if you're okay just typing it in there, that works as well. And then here, you can change the font type, font size, all that stuff. So let's make it a little bit more interesting of a font type. Oh, let's go with the good old Comic Sans. Everyone likes Comic Sans. Okay, so it's in Comic Sans, and then we can change the size. Let's go to like, I don't know, let's see what 30 looks like. We can probably go fairly big on this. Yep. And then I can just stretch the box if I want to, to make it like stretch all the way across. Okay, and just like in a text document, like you can do like the centering and stuff. So here's horizontal alignment. So I maybe just want to have that centered. I could change the color right here. So I could click here, and maybe I want it to be like red text. Okay, I could do that. Oh, try it again. It didn't stick for whatever reason. Oh, that's why. So the reason why it didn't stick is over on the right side here. You can see I'm moving this. Everything is going to be black, so I have to pull it up so it actually lightens up. There we go. So now I've got the red. All right, so I've got my red text. So there you go. Congratulations, you win. And I'm asking if they want to play again. Okay. Now remember, this is the win layout, which is like its own thing. Okay. Um, so it's going to have a different event sheet. So like if I click on this win layout over here, you can see that here it's assigned an event sheet. So you can assign whichever event sheet you want to, but that's where it gets the code from. So a really common thing is like people will be making a game and they make a new level and like none of the code works. It's because they forgot to assign it the event sheet. And then once you do that, then all of a sudden everything runs. So that's why. All right, so we've got that layout done. So now we just simply need to go onto our ES reset. So I'm going to double click it here in the project window. I'm going to add an event. And basically, we just want to make it so that when we click the button, that we go back to the game. So we're going to say reset button. And then we're going to do on clicked. And that's actually right at the top. So I'll just say on clicked. And then I'm going to add an action for that. And to go to a layout, that's a system command. So I'm going to do system. And I'm just going to say go to layout right here. And I want to go back to the game layout. So I'm going to click done. So now what this code says is reset button on clicked, go to game. So that's how we'll go back to the game. So now the question is like, how do we actually get to that screen? So we're going to set up conditions later, probably in the next video, that you actually beat the game, and then it's going to send you to this layout. And then you click on the button, and it takes you back to that layout. As a programmer, you never want the player to be in a situation where they can't continue. So you always need to make sure everything loops. There's always a way to get back to the start screen, always a way to get out of a screen. You don't ever want to leave the player stuck. So just make sure that that's always working in your game. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a game over layout. So what we're going to do is go back to this layouts here, right click, add a layout. This time we're not going to add an event sheet. So we're going to say add layout only, because this will also use the ES reset. And we're just going to set up the same thing. So over here, I'm going to rename it. This is going to be the lose. Okay. And we're going to set the size to the same. So what was it? 704 by 480, I think we've been doing. Yep. So we're going to do 704, 480. Okay, so we got the size set. And then basically, since we didn't create a new event sheet, if you look here, it's actually not assigned any event sheet. So any layout, if you don't add an event sheet with it, it's not going to have any. So you have to manually give it an event sheet. This is going to use ES reset. And all we're going to do is the same thing as we're going to use that same button. So what I can do is I can come over here to my project window. Okay, and I can grab the reset button from here. I can drag it on here. Since we have the event sheet assigned, it already has the code. So this is already set to like click on it and go back to game. And then we can just make a new text object that just says like game over, you lose. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a text. And then I'll just call it lose text. And then I'll insert it, click here, and just do all that stuff we just did. Go into my settings on the side. Go ahead and just make it say game over. It can say game over, you lose, whatever you want it to do. I can pick the font again. Got to go Comic Sans. Whoops. Comic Sans if I actually pick it. Comic Sans. And then once again, I did center alignment. So if I do here, I'm going to go center alignment, change the size. I'll go 30 again just to be consistent. And there we go. All right, so I'm going to stop with this video there. So we basically got like our start and our game over going. And I'm hoping the next video will finish it up.